Hello. Oh, I have a woodchuck. Oh wait, that's just me. Oh, okay. Hello. Okay, I'm learning to draw. Okay, we're live. Okay. I'm gonna go to. Oh, it's already streaming. Hello. Oh, I can hear myself. Oh, I have a woodchuck. Oh wait, that's just me. Oh, okay. Hello. Okay. I'm learning to draw. Okay, mute the stream here, and then I'm gonna go to where is it? Learn to draw. Okay. Learn to draw by Brandon Schaefer. Oh my god, my thing disconnected again. Okay, hang on. Okay, I need to go in here. Okay, well, let me adjust this. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so we're learning to draw today. Let's start recording. And boom. Okay. So today, oh, low battery. Does that stop the recording? No, it doesn't. Okay. So I'm going to be learning to draw today. This is my second episode of doing it.
For here once again.
So
I hope that you've had fun playing around with all the different pencils that you have in your little kit. If you have not yet, I encourage you to try out all the different leads and try to make, an extension of the last video with the sketching basics. Try to make different thicknesses. Just get used to how a pencil moves and how it, the feeling of it, the textures it creates. Try using it, holding it a different way. That's also very important. Holding it a certain way. Usually, for loose sketching, you don't want to be holding a pencil like this and kind of sketching like that. You want it to be really loose. So your pressure is really light, light pressure. So be sure to remember that. You want really light pressure when you're holding it. Kind of hold it back a little farther. You can even hold it, like this. Kind of a different way to do it. Try out some different things and practice and see what works best. Like I was saying, put the pencil on its edge and try to make different marks, create some interesting shapes, and just play around with the pencil. So in this video, it's going to be about breaking down any kind of picture or scene that you see. If you're drawing what's outside your door, let's say you have an image of some mountains and some trees and a house, etc. All of reality is just different shapes. They can kind of be broken down quite simply into the four basic shapes. I mean, everybody knows these: a square or a rectangle, circle, triangles. Excuse me there. You get the point. And then there's just putting all these together. And also, not really, none of them are really 2D like this. They're all usually, you know, in reality we find them as cubes, you know, like this, and then triangular prisms and things. So, like this, they're all usually, you know, in reality we find them as cubes.
Okay. So like this.
You know, like this, and then
Okay.
triangular prisms and things. So, by simplifying everything,
Triangle here.
and
How do you do that?
you know, by seeing just a scene outside, you know, let's say this is outside, and you have, you know, trees and whatnot, whatever the landscape is, you know, mountains in the distance, which are just soft triangles, you know, horizon line, trees, etc. Just break all these down into basic shapes like I'm doing.
We cannot do that.
So to get something very basic, you know, trunks, it's all like this. It's just very basic. So play around with this and get used to the pencil and just do very basic shapes. Because that's what everything is. Everything is broken down into just basic shapes. Now later on in other videos, we're going to get into perspective and what makes it look real. But in this one, I just want you to get down how to simplify shapes, and really this goes hand in hand with painting. It's simplifying, it's massing out shapes. Also, start trying to not only fill in shapes, so not only to just make the outlines or basic shapes, but to start giving them some value. So we know the sky is going to be the lightest thing. So try some different shading techniques. And these are just thumbnails. It's just really simple sketching. Trying to plan out ideas or just drawing from life what you see. You know, that's the idea. Is to plan things out and start putting down some value. In later videos, I mean, I'm going to go over how to shade, how to do all the ideas, or just drawing from life what you see. You know, that's the idea. Is to plan things out and start putting down some value. In later videos, I mean, I'm going to go over how to shade, how to do all this stuff.
So bad.
But for now, just get the simple concept of massing out shapes like this. You can see there's a definite value change, you know, between everything. So that's kind of reality there. That's what makes things look realistic. If that's what you're looking for, is different values, different.
Okay, I can't open my door, so I'm just going to draw what he's drawing.
Forms, shape. So even breaking down, I mean, let's get down to it. One of the best things you can do is try to just draw your hand. I filled up an entire sketchbook. I have it laying around here somewhere, but just different, you know, I'd look at my hand this way and I would just sit there and draw it. Or I'd draw my finger like this. I would, you know, do all different kinds of angles and all different kinds of movement, and I filled up the whole sketchbook of just hands. So, but breaking down a hand, what is a hand? These are just cylinders. You know, that was the other shape up here that I didn't draw in.
Oh, what is that?
It's just a cylinder.
That doesn't look that bad.
So there's two ovals and then connectors.
Oh, I think
and that's what these
gaps
fingers
are a bit too large, though.
You know, everything, you just break it down into really basic shapes.
Finger like
you know, ovals and then, you know, cylinders. I'll show you real quick here. You know, the hand. It's very
that is
basic
out of
shapes.
proportion.
Just different,
Oh my god.
you
Gonna try that again.
know, squares, circles. So you have knuckles here. You know, 4 different knuckles.
Wait,
and
that's
then
a hand?
that's the beginning of the cylinder.
Oh, I see what
So
he's
you
saying.
have
So
these
it's like
different
simplifying shapes
that connect the fingers.
splitting a big,
So
bigger
I mean,
drawing.
it's basic stuff.
Good.
But the best way to do it is to draw from life. Draw what you're actually looking at, and start learning to see. That's one of the most important things, is learning to see.
So it's kind of like a
but you have to learn what to see first. You have to learn that everything is just simple shapes. You know, a big square, maybe, you know, and then you start. Once you get down the basic shapes here, you start modifying here and there. You know, maybe it wasn't a complete perfect circle. There was little things sticking out. You know, it's not exactly a. You know, you start out with a square here, but there's also this other shape here. So you kind of have to modify and just add other shapes, you know, curvature there, etc. So all these things, but you have to learn the basics. You have to learn the rules before you can break them. And these are the rules, the simple rules to drawing and to drawing from life, is that everything is broken down, you know, breaking things down into a simple form. So just think of that when you look at anything. And that's some of the exercises, some of the exercises you should do. You know, if you're drawing a chair, just real loose and real quick, just break down the shape of a chair. You know, the legs are just rectangles. Just try to block it in. You know, get all the shapes down. Yeah. And there's your
pretty bad.
You know, quick, simple chair, and then you just start refining. You know, sketches don't have to be perfect. They're not going to be perfect the first time around. You may have to start over 3 or 4 different times. But the point is to just capture what you're seeing. You know, there's not much more to say about that. So once you start simplifying the shapes, just start blocking in the value tones that you see. And usually squinting helps to simplify. You know, maybe back here, all this is in shadow. You know, the really dark shadow. You have the shadow going back this way for the chair, whatever. But then all this is light, so it's going to be shadow here, shadow here, and shadow here, but all the light's coming from over here. Sorry, you can't really see it that much, but so you just start breaking it down, and then just slowly, you know, with light pressure, filling it in. So anyway, I can't really zoom in on that area. So, but you get the idea. So start blocking things in. You know, whatever you see in nature, start blocking it in. I would suggest just start drawing from life, doing as much as you can. Draw your hands, draw your feet, draw tables, chairs, etc. Draw everything. Break it down into the simple shapes. And then one thing that can help is to, let's say you're doing, you know, I'll show you something simple, just to keep it really simple. Like if you're doing something that's a sphere, so that's not really sketching, huh? I'm just doing it for, you know. So let's say we have the sphere. Now, you want to show the roundness of it. Now, how do you do that? Well, one thing is try to imagine it being 3D. So there's a back and a front. So imagine this wireframe around it. So this is the back of it, this is the front. And really there's a wireframe, you know, all the way around it.
Wait, what's this about?
And even going this way, simple shapes. And then one thing that can help.
So let's try finishing drawing this compass. So basically, we have to try splitting the object into separate shapes. So I can see I've sort of added a few squares and rectangles here. The next thing, I think this is a bit too far out, but let me fix that. So I think that goes closer just to there. The next thing talked about is to draw more shapes. So there's sort of like a circle. That's really that far out, but there's a circle going on out here. So It's a lot smaller now actually, so it's about this size. And then oh, I made this part too long. Okay, hang on, this is difficult. So I've got to get this part here, and then it's only about that long, and there's about a circle going around like this. Tiny bit thing going up here as well. And then what are some other shapes? So there's the shape of the water inside the glass, which is kind of just like additional tubes here. Then that sort of goes around to the outside like that. And then there's the actual shadow on the glass as well. So there's a sort of inner layer of the glass that's sort of like this, but it's sort of blurred. So there are little triangles here on the glass. So that makes up that shape. And what else is there? This is difficult. I think that's it for shapes mainly. In terms of shadow, there's a tiny bit of shadow over here. And through the cup you can see the water sort of from here, that kind of aligns with these shapes here. Oh, that does not look good. I don't know what I've done here. You can kind of see the bottom looks like a glass, but the top I've sort of messed that up because I wasn't sure how to add. I think if I remove it, and if I remove maybe the layers around here, see if that works. Still kind of weird. It feels like there's an additional sort of thing on top of the glass rather than it being one thing by itself. I have to make the lines over here a bit more coming out from there, maybe? And then I make this circle a bit bigger. Yeah, there we go, that looks a bit better. And then I can add the water is just a tiny layer, so it's like really only this small. And so there are different shapes. There's a circle shape here, there's water shape there. And then you can see the reflection of the glass sort of through the water, so that kind of is a bit towards the side of the water, like that. Oh, that there's actually like a little bit of separation between the glass and the water. Sort of like this as well. Yeah, but it doesn't really look like that. It more looks like, yeah, that doesn't really look good. It more looks like sort of goes up. So the water actually doesn't go all the way there. The water starts at around here actually. That's where it starts. And before the water, there's actually like a separate glass that sort of goes here. And then there's like extra things that are here. So there's like an extra line there, there's an extra line there, that's side to the right of the water, there's an extra line there, that's side towards the right of the water. And then connecting glass is like another sort of line. So this line goes throughout all the way, so it's like this, kind of. And I shouldn't shade that. Oh, that's starting to look better actually. Okay, okay. So you can see now the glass is starting to take shape. You can sort of see that's the inside of the glass. And then we can make the water by kind of, I'm gonna make this layer a bit less actually to make the water, so we're gonna make this layer a bit more like that. Then we're gonna sort of curve that around, so it's probably gonna look to around there for the water. So that's the water in glass, now we can see that. Still looks kind of weird. I feel like it still kind of looks like an empty glass. It doesn't really look like there's water inside. Yeah, that's because the glass doesn't have any other layer. So we can add a bit, even another layer right here. And we're going to sort of make this layer a bit more obvious as well, so it looks more like there's water inside. That kind of looks like there's water. We haven't done the top though, so the top still looks a bit awkward. I think because the top looks awkward, it's not really making the bottom look any good because it's sort of messing with the bottom. So it's kind of like another layer at the top here that sort of separates it like that. There's another layer that sort of cuts through here. That looks kind of bad. Yeah, there's no lines in between. It's just lines going up to the layer. So I'm getting kind of tired. Let's try to finish this. So lines go here. The lines in the water. No, there's no lines over there, but they sort of go like this, and another layer goes like that, and then in between there's two layers. This part of the glass is a bit small actually. We're going to make this a bit bigger so it's a bit easier to see. I'm going to make this a bit bigger like this. Sketch this up here. And now I can make, okay, that looks a bit, this proportion's a bit weird now. I'm going to sort of change this back so it's just something like that. It's a bit better like that. Then I'm going to add the upper layer of the upper layer actually goes beyond the glass, so the glass sort of has line a gap there, and the layer goes sort of in on like that, and then the bottom layer sort of goes around like this. And then these lines go sort of up to the bottom layer. Do they actually? No, these are the other lines, so they don't go to the bottom layer, no. Sorry, so these lines go there. And that sort of is connected by this. So they go here, like that. And then up from here, there's another set of lines about here that goes up like that. Oh, this is starting to look worse and worse. But yeah, and then finally, those lines, up to those lines, another layer of lines that sort of goes to the upwards of the cup like that. And that is sort of, so the water is like, oh, the water should, oh, okay, the water is where the line is up to there, so there shouldn't even be lines that go all the way up to there, there should just be lines that go up to here, theoretically. And here is the water. And the other water is over here. I shouldn't have colored that in. That looks weird now. So the water is like that. And through here, there's actually another layer that goes across that. So that's where the water stops. But there's actually, sorry, the other layer doesn't go through that. It actually goes through all the way through here, like this. So this is where the water stops. And the layer goes through like this, and then you can sort of see the water flowing in other ways like that. Like here and here. Oh, my leg just snapped. And then above that is where the rest of the cup is, so that's sort of like that. And that is kind of the cup, I guess. I don't really have the water here super obviously, but I wonder how that's actually done. So the layers, oh, so the layer is a lot less than the layer actually in that. So I'm gonna make this, I see what I need to do now. So I need to make this, for example, first of all, really thin. I need to make the water here. I'm going to add this layer, sorry, to this. I'm going to remove the water from here. Make this really thin as well. Add water coming in from here. Then I'm going to make the water only a tiny bit like that. And now it kind of looks like water. And now what I'm going to do for the middle is I'm going to add. Oh no! Oh, my iPhone just ran out of battery. Oh wait, I just opened the wrong one. Okay. Okay, so well, that's the end of the stream. My iPhone ran out of battery, but I'll show you what the drawing looks like, finished drawing looks like in the video. So